Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Broyans Farm. Like normal, I'm starting off here in the greenhouse again today. Now, we've had cloudy weather the past 2 to 3 days, so now we want to start fertilizing. But we don't want to fertilize everything, only certain things that we notice are going to start needing it. And so right now I have my bucket of fertilizer. There's not that much left in it. And this is a 15, 16, 17 mixture at 125 parts per million. And so what I'm doing with this is, first of all, I gotta get my suction line in there. And actually I might have to prop it up on a board just because I don't have much left. And make sure that suction line is fully submerged. Certain things like our onions, our dahlias right down here, this whole lot, and our impatiens down here are gonna need it. Now this is the first year in 3 years we've had any kind of issues with our impatiens, but this year it's kind of seeming like the petals are wanting to fall off, and that could be for several reasons. The first reason could be they didn't like a certain kind of fertilizer that we gave them, but we don't really think that's it because it's nothing we haven't given them in previous years. And the second thing, or the second problem that could have occurred was Dad might have sprayed them with something that they did not like, which that is what we're really thinking it is. And so now that he's kind of changed up his spray and we've been taking extra special care of them, they're starting to come back around. You can still see one or two, like this one here, is looking pretty bad. But then we have other ones like these ones, you can see all the new growth coming out and they're starting to come back around. And so just to give them an extra jolt, we're gonna feed them with that 15, 16, 17 and hopefully help them out more. Hi, Dace. Come on. First thing I gotta do is take my hose outside and start it up because I need to get, sorry Dace, that fertilizer running through the line. Just to be safe, I'll do a fertilizer check. I don't know if you can see that's blue, and I'm ready to start watering whatever needs to be watered. I try to do a nice even water around the whole flat. The edges get dry faster than the centers do, so I usually like to go around that twice and then over the center just a little bit. Now I'm onto the dahlias. A lot of these don't really need that much water right now, but like I said, I'm kind of doing it to feed them, not so much to water them. So I'm not gonna absolutely drench them. I'm just gonna give them enough to get the roots. So now I'm on to the impatiens. Again, I just want to do a nice even water. Now these are a little more dry than the dahlias, so I can water them a little bit heavier. I just came back over into number one. Mom said the hanging tomatoes need some water, so I don't want to fertilize. That's already shut off. I'm gonna turn my valve on, which is the baskets one, and it's the first row. So I'll turn that on and let that water for probably 7 to 8 minutes. And actually I have to come all the way around here just to make sure it's actually running. You can just see it starting to come out now. We have 2 fuchsias, and then the rest are tomatoes. You can see that air bleeding out. I've said this before, but these are all pressure regulating. So in theory, none of them should spit out any water until they all reach the same pressure. But I think sometimes that doesn't always hold true. Here it's coming out now. The water just comes out of these a lot slower than it does out of these lead waters, but these are not pressure regulated. While these are watering, I'll show you what me and Dad got done yesterday. We spaced these about 2 days ago, these New Guinea impatiens, and then I spaced all of these Sonettis and then some of these Celosia. Then I also moved into all the mints. We have the pineapple, the chocolate, right there. Here's the pineapple. Actually, they might need some water as well. Down here is the mojito. Trying to be careful because I just put these waters in. I don't want them to come back out. And then down here is the strawberry. And so these take a lot of water. Right now they're a little bit small, so they don't take as much, but in the next week or so, they're gonna get bigger, and then they're gonna require water at least probably once a day. Then down here, we had a little patch, not done, so Dad put these new geraniums, the scented ones, on here. And then Dad also got the coleus done here as well, along with some petunias. And still, these are out in full blossom. Absolutely love them. On a cloudy day, the plants don't suck up as much water, so you don't really want to water on those days any more than you have to. That's why today, now that we haven't had sunshine really in 2 or 3 days, it's the perfect time, because even though those pots weren't sucking up a lot of water and they didn't look that dry, they were dry. So now that we got in here this morning, got everything fertilized that we want to, now those plants can suck up all that fertilizer and use it to their benefit all day long. If we did that on a cloudy day, what would happen is the water would kind of just sit in there and it really won't suck it up because it doesn't need the water. In the seed room, I don't have a lot of new stuff done. It's just the stuff that is in here is kind of taking a little while to grow, like our peppers. It's the 26th and I planted these on the 21st. So these have been growing for 5 days, and I'm just seeing, if you can notice, that a little bit of a bump in the flats, meaning that they're finally starting to come up out of their trays now, or their cells now. And so I also, yesterday or 2 days ago, I think, did the dill, and that is just starting to come up out. I don't know if you can see that. Probably take this out in a day or two because dill grows really fast. That was another thing we learned. Last year when we planted dill, we actually planted it 2 weeks sooner than what we did now, and it was way too mature for when we wanted to go to market the first day. So we pushed it back another 2 weeks, and hopefully now it should be right on time. I also did another batch of chives right here. These are in 1201s. As you can see, there's 12 packs, all singles. Chives, onions, and dill are the only 3 seeds that I actually plant right into their cell or pack, whatever you want to call it, as soon as they're planted. Unlike all the rest of them that get planted in these 512 seed trays. And we do it like that because if we would plant 1 dill seed in each one of these, we would have to then plant about 30 or 40 of these single cells in here just to make that pack look full, and it would just kind of be a waste of time. So instead we just plant them right in there, put the vermiculite right over top, and you can see how good they're growing now. Which this is onions, but that's just an example. So now I'll head over into number 2, see how Mom's making out. She is still fertilizing, I think. She's doing mostly the hanging baskets, and I did like the packs and the pots of stuff. So it looks like she's done doing the hanging baskets. Now she's moving on to the planters. And she's fertilizing with 15, 16, 17 as well, but it's at 200 parts. So it's a lot stronger, or quite a bit stronger than what I was fertilizing. And the reason for that is because we are watering a pot this size compared to a planter this size. Now she's moving on to the heuchera and daisies. Are you doing the heuchera too?
No, I think I'm just gonna do these.
Okay, she's just doing the daisies then. These are looking really good, but every year it seems like it takes a while to grow, so we're gonna give them a little bit of a push now, and hopefully they'll be ready sooner. Then right next to the heuchera are the sunflowers. There's actually 3 different batches here, if you can see that. This batch back there and this batch back here are the first batches, and then this one here and this one here are the second batches. On this side, it's all Sunbuzz, and on this side, it's all Real Carnival. And then this is the third batch right here, which this is all Sunbuzz as well. And then right here and right over here is the third batch of Real Carnival, which I fertilized this morning. In this corner back here next to the sunflowers, we put our lupines. A lot of things don't like it when it's in a corner with not a lot of air, but these seem to do really well, and so we've been putting them here for years. Now I am seeing that this pack right here is definitely a little bit wilty, The rest of them aren't so bad, but I'm gonna have to tell Mom to get the hose over here pretty quick and get these watered. Here is my first batch of chives. As you can see, they're doing great. Here's more of our onions. Then it moves into our zinnias. On the table here is the calabacopa. This is a lot of just extra that we have that we didn't need for our hanging baskets, so then we put them in pots and sell them that way. Just like the fuchsia here as well. Right next to our dahlias, which I fertilized earlier, are the tomatoes. Now these are mostly for our high tunnels. There is some just for early retail sales, like the Roma Paste, Primo Red, Mountain Fresh, Burpee's Big Boy, Rutger, and Early Girl. Here's the alyssum that I talked about a couple videos back. These were a little bigger than we wanted when we got them, but we still took them anyway. And you can see how they have these yellow leaves around the edges here. And that is from getting too dry. We couldn't really see what was going on in the flats, and we had them kind of back in the back, so we couldn't see them up close, and didn't realize how dry they were getting. And this is actually just from getting dry 1 or 2 times. And so that's what will happen. So now what we need to do before going out to get sold is take all these yellow leaves off. And just because they get dry once or twice doesn't mean it's gonna hurt the plant at all or there's anything wrong with it. It's just something that happens, and you know, it's always gonna happen. You can always water everything and have everything perfect. We just try not to let it happen any more than possible. So that's what I'm calling it a wrap for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember, it ain't much, but it's honest work.